One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that friendliness always brings respect. The truth is, if you are too friendly, people may see you as weak, easy to take advantage of, and not worth listening to. Kindness is powerful, but when it has no limits, it becomes a trap. The world respects people who have principles, who know when to say no, and who protect their own value. If you try to please everyone, you will lose yourself and the respect that truly matters. Today, I will explain why being overly nice can hold you back and how setting boundaries can change the way people see you forever. Kindness is a strength, but when misunderstood, it can be mistaken for weakness. Many people believe that being nice to everyone will make them loved and respected. But in reality, if kindness is not balanced with strength, people start taking advantage of you. Respect comes from boundaries, not from blind generosity. In my journey, I have seen people fail, not because they lacked talent, but because they were too eager to please others. They confused friendliness with value, and as a result, no one took them seriously. When you give too much without principle, people will stop respecting your time, your effort, and even your words. Kindness is about giving, but weakness is about giving up your self-respect. The difference is subtle. A kind person helps others, but still protects their own dignity. A weak person gives so much that they forget their own worth. When you cross that line, you lose not just respect, but also your power. I always tell young people the world does not respect unlimited kindness. If you smile all the time, agree all the time, and never stand for yourself, people will assume you have no strength. Leadership requires kindness, yes, but it also requires firmness. Too much kindness without strength creates imbalance. The thin line between kindness and weakness is crossed when you cannot say no. Kindness says yes when it matters and no when it must. Weakness says yes all the time because it fears rejection. But every yes without meaning weakens your value. People admire those who have the courage to refuse. In business, I learned this lesson the hard way. In the early days, I wanted to be friendly with everyone, to say yes to every request. But soon I realized people did not respect Alibaba. They thought we had no focus, no strength. When we started saying no, people began to see us as serious. Kindness builds trust, but weakness invites exploitation. People will always test your limits. If you show no boundaries, they will keep taking more. True kindness is not endless giving, it is thoughtful giving. Weakness is when you give because you cannot resist pressure. The thin line is also seen in relationships. Being kind to your friends or family is important, but if you let them walk over you, they will never value you. They may love your generosity, but they will not respect your character. Without respect, even love becomes shallow. The problem is that society often confuses weakness for kindness. People say, "He is so nice. He never refuses anyone." But in truth, that person may simply lack courage. Real kindness is not about saying yes to everyone, it is about saying yes to the right things. Weakness hides behind fear, fear of conflict, fear of rejection, fear of being disliked. Kindness, on the other hand, comes from strength. It is the decision to help even when you don't have to and to care even when it is difficult. Kindness is a choice, weakness is avoidance. One powerful test is this: after helping someone, do they respect you more or less? If they respect you more, it was kindness. If they respect you less, it was weakness. True kindness raises your value in others' eyes. Weakness lowers it. Kindness also requires wisdom. You must know when to give, how much to give, and to whom to give. Weakness ignores wisdom and gives blindly. The result is exhaustion, disappointment, and loss of respect. Wise kindness multiplies value. Blind kindness destroys it. When you are too friendly, people may enjoy your presence, but they will not see you as a leader. Leaders must balance kindness with authority. If you only show kindness, people may like you, but they will not follow you. Leadership requires both heart and strength. Kindness is generous, but it is not cheap. If your kindness costs you your dignity, it is no longer kindness, it is weakness. People value what they have to earn. If you give your time, energy, and respect too freely, they stop valuing it. The thin line is often crossed when you ignore your own needs. Kindness considers both you and others. Weakness ignores you completely and puts everyone else first. This may feel noble, but over time, it empties you. An empty person cannot help anyone. And I often say, kindness without principles is dangerous. You must have standards, lines you will not cross, values you will not compromise. If you give up these principles just to be liked, your kindness becomes weakness. People may smile at you, but deep inside they won't respect you. Kindness and weakness can look similar on the surface, but their outcomes are very different. Kindness earns gratitude, respect, and loyalty. Weakness earns disrespect, exploitation, and regret. The difference is not in the action, but in the intention behind it. The thin line also exists inside you. When you help someone, ask yourself, am I doing this out of strength or out of fear? If it is strength, it is kindness. If it is fear, it is weakness. Honesty with yourself will keep you from crossing the line. True kindness empowers others. Weakness enables them. If your actions make people stronger, it is kindness. If your actions make people dependent or careless, it is weakness. The goal of kindness is growth, not comfort. Kindness is a gift, but weakness is a trap. The line between them is thin, but it is clear. Protect your value, set your boundaries, and give from strength, not from fear. The world needs your kindness, but it will only respect you if you refuse to let kindness turn into weakness. At first, accommodating others feels like a good thing. You agree, you adjust, and you put their needs above your own. But over time, this habit becomes dangerous. When you always bend, people stop respecting your position. Instead of seeing you as kind, they see you as weak. Respect is not given to those who always say yes. It is given to those who stand firm on their values. If you are always accommodating, people believe you have no principles, no limits, and no backbone. They will accept your favors but never take you seriously. In business, I saw many leaders fail because they wanted to please everyone. They gave discounts to every customer, said yes to every demand, and adjusted endlessly. At the end, the customers did not respect them, yet they demanded more. Over-accommodation destroys authority. When you over-accommodate, you create expectations that you cannot maintain. People begin to think, he will always adjust for me. And when one day you cannot, they call you selfish. Over-accommodation is not only exhausting, and it creates disappointment and resentment. True respect comes from balance. You can be kind and generous, but you must also have standards. When you give too much without protecting your own time and value, you are teaching people to ignore your worth. Over-accommodation trains others to take advantage of you. I always tell young people, life will test your limits. If you never show them, people will keep pushing. Over-accommodating is like leaving your doors wide open. Anyone can walk in and take what they want. Respect is built when you learn to close the door sometimes. The danger of over-accommodation is that it feels noble. You tell yourself you are helping, supporting, and being friendly. But the hidden truth is this: you are losing yourself in the process. Respect is not earned by giving everything away. It is earned by giving wisely. In relationships, over-accommodating destroys balance. If you are always the one adjusting, you create dependency and imbalance. The other person begins to believe their needs are more important than yours. That is not love or respect. It is control. When you always accommodate, people stop listening to you. Your opinions, your decisions, your voice, they all become background noise. Why? Because they assume you will eventually give in. Over time, your words lose weight. Respect dies not in one day, but in many small concessions. Respect requires boundaries. Without boundaries, people see no reason to treat you seriously. Over-accommodation erases boundaries. It tells the world, I will accept anything. And once that message is clear, respect is gone. Over-accommodation also kills leadership. A leader who always bends cannot guide a team. The team may like such a leader for a short time, but they will never follow them with true loyalty. Leadership is not about making everyone happy. It is about moving forward with clarity. Sometimes over-accommodation is driven by fear. Fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of being disliked. But living in fear makes you a prisoner of others' approval. And a prisoner cannot lead, cannot create, and cannot earn respect. Courage, not fear, builds respect. One dangerous outcome of over-accommodation is loss of self-respect. Deep inside, you know when you are giving too much. You feel the frustration, the exhaustion, the anger. Each time you say yes when you want to say no, you lose a piece of your own confidence. People may thank you for accommodating them, but they will not admire you for it. Admiration comes from strength, not weakness. History does not remember those who pleased everyone. It remembers those who stood firm. Over-accommodation leaves no legacy. Over-accommodation also teaches people the wrong lesson. Instead of respecting your kindness, they begin to expect it. Instead of appreciating your help, they take it for granted. When gratitude disappears, exploitation begins. In negotiation, this is especially true. If you agree too quickly, the other side believes you are desperate. If you give too much, they stop respecting you as a partner. Over-accommodation destroys your leverage. Sometimes saying no earns more respect than saying yes. The irony is that by trying to make everyone happy, you end up unhappy yourself. And worse, the very people you are trying to please lose respect for you. Over-accommodation is a trap. It feels good in the moment, but it destroys relationships in the long run. True kindness does not mean adjusting to everything. It means knowing when to give and when to protect yourself. It means helping without losing your dignity. Respect grows when people see that your kindness has wisdom, not weakness. If you want people to respect you, stop over-accommodating. Be fair, be generous, but also be firm. Say yes when it aligns with your values and no when it does not. Respect comes from clarity, not compromise. Over-accommodating destroys respect. The more you bend, the less people value you. Don't lose yourself in the desire to be liked. Protect your boundaries, stand for your principles, and give from strength, not from fear. That is how you earn lasting respect. And at first, pleasing everyone feels safe. You avoid conflict, you get approval, and people smile at you. But what most don't see is the silent cost. The more you try to please everyone, the more you lose yourself. Approval feels sweet in the moment, but it eats away at your identity. The silent cost is time. When you spend your hours making everyone else comfortable, you have no time left for your own growth. Every yes to someone else's priority is a no to your own. Years pass, and you wonder why you are stuck. The answer is simple. You gave your life away to please others. Another silent cost is respect. People do not admire those who bend constantly. They enjoy your compliance, but they do not respect you for it. Respect is earned by standing firm. If you try to please everyone, people see you as agreeable, but never as strong. Pleasing everyone also weakens your voice. You stop saying what you believe and start saying what others want to hear. In the beginning, it feels harmless, but over time, you lose the ability to speak with conviction. Your voice becomes background noise in a world that only respects courage. In leadership, this cost is deadly. A leader who tries to please everyone ends up pleasing no one. Decisions become unclear, direction is lost, and the team begins to doubt. Pleasing people may win temporary favor, but it destroys long-term trust. The silent cost also shows in missed opportunities. When you are busy pleasing others, you are not pursuing your own vision. Opportunities pass by because your energy is spent living someone else's life. The world rewards boldness, not compliance. Self-respect is another casualty. Deep down, you know when you are compromising too much. Each time you silence your needs for approval, you lose a piece of yourself. Over time, this creates bitterness. You gave everything, yet no one gave respect in return. I have seen entrepreneurs destroyed by this habit. They lower prices to please customers, they overwork to please investors, and they abandon vision to please critics. In the end, the business collapses. Why? Because they tried to be everything to everyone instead of being true to their mission. Pleasing everyone also steals clarity. You begin to forget what you actually believe. You live in reaction, not intention. Without clarity, life feels heavy. The irony is, in trying to make everyone happy, you end up lost and unhappy yourself. Another cost is trust. People trust those who are consistent. If you are always changing to fit others' approval, no one knows who you really are. Without authenticity, trust disappears. And once trust is gone, influence is impossible. The silent cost is also emotional exhaustion. Trying to keep everyone happy is a battle you cannot win. People are unpredictable. What pleases one disappoints another. Living this way drains you of joy and leaves you empty. Energy wasted on approval cannot be used for growth. Pleasing everyone also keeps you from greatness. No one changes the world by fitting in. Innovators, leaders, and pioneers often upset people. They are criticized before they are celebrated. If you fear disapproval, you will never take the risks that lead to greatness. The habit of pleasing also creates manipulation. People learn quickly that you cannot say no. They will push you, demand more, and use your kindness against you. They will not respect your generosity. They will exploit it. People respect strength, not endless compromise. When you please everyone, you also silence your uniqueness. The world doesn't need another copy. It needs your originality. But if you are busy molding yourself to fit others, your true self never shines. The cost is losing the one thing no one else can offer, you. I learned this lesson early in my career. When I stopped trying to please everyone and focused on our mission, people criticized me. But later, the same people respected the results. Respect is built on principles, not on popularity. The silent cost of pleasing everyone is regret. At the end of life, people rarely say, "I wish more people had approved of me." They say, "I wish I had lived true to myself." Approval fades, but regret lasts forever. Another cost is mediocrity. People pleasers avoid conflict, so they avoid bold moves. But bold moves create growth. By seeking approval, you settle for average. Pleasing everyone guarantees you will never stand out. Financially, the cost is also real. If you keep lowering your value to please others, you end up underpaid, undervalued, and unappreciated. Your kindness turns into exploitation. True wealth comes from knowing your worth and refusing to compromise it for approval. The truth is, not everyone will like you, no matter what you do. Once you accept this, you are free. Freedom comes when you stop paying the price of endless approval. Respect yourself, live by your values, and let those who truly matter accept you for who you are. The cost of pleasing everyone is invisible at first, but it grows silently. You lose time, respect, trust, clarity, and even yourself. Don't trade your future for temporary smiles. Please your vision, your principles, and your mission. That is how you build a life of real respect and lasting value. You can say 1,000 words about respect, but nothing proves it more than boundaries. Boundaries are silent teachers. They show people how to treat you, what you will accept, and what you will never allow. You don't need to explain much. Your limits speak for you. In life, people test you. They want to see how far they can go. If you allow disrespect once, they will push further. But when you set a clear boundary, you send a message without speaking. This is my standard. If you want my time and respect, you must honor it. Kindness without boundaries is weakness, but kindness with boundaries is strength. Many confuse saying yes with generosity, but real generosity is controlled by limits. Boundaries make your kindness valuable because people know it comes from choice, not from fear. I have seen employees respect leaders not because of their speeches, but because of their standards. A leader who sets boundaries on behavior, time, and focus creates trust. Without boundaries, a leader is only liked, but never respected. Boundaries are what transform friendliness into authority. Boundaries also protect your energy. If you let everyone take your time, you will have nothing left for yourself. When you say no, you are not rejecting others. You are protecting your energy for what truly matters. Boundaries are shields that guard your future. In relationships, boundaries define love. Without them, love turns into control and imbalance. When you show someone where the line is, you are not pushing them away. You are protecting the space where love can stay healthy. Boundaries are the foundation of respect in any relationship. The truth is, people rarely listen to what you say. They watch what you allow. If you say, "I value my time," but you let others waste it, your words mean nothing. Boundaries are actions. They prove what you stand for without a single explanation. Boundaries also create clarity. When you are unclear, people assume they can do as they wish. But when you define your limits, others know exactly how to engage with you. Clarity eliminates confusion and prevents conflict before it even begins. In business, boundaries create professionalism. A company that says yes to every demand loses credibility, but one that sets limits on quality, price, and values earns respect. Customers may not always like it, but they respect it. Boundaries turn businesses into brands. Boundaries are not about pushing people away. They are about bringing the right people closer. Those who respect your limits will value you more. Those who don't will leave. And that is good because the wrong people waste your time, while the right people strengthen your future. Many fear setting boundaries because they worry about losing friends or opportunities. But weak boundaries don't create loyalty, they create dependency. Strong boundaries filter out the wrong connections and attract the right ones. What you lose in approval, you gain in respect. When I was younger, I tried to explain myself endlessly. Later, I realized explanations are weak, boundaries are strong. A simple no with consistency is more powerful than a long justification. Words may be debated, boundaries cannot. Boundaries also create freedom. Without them, you are enslaved by others' demands. With them, you own your life. Freedom is not doing everything you want. It is having the strength to decide what you will not accept. Boundaries give you that power. The thin line between success and failure often lies in how you protect your boundaries. Successful people guard their time, their focus, and their mission. Unsuccessful people let others control their hours, emotions, and direction. Boundaries decide the difference. Boundaries are also about self-respect. If you do not respect yourself enough to protect your time and values, why should others respect you? Every boundary you set tells the world, I value myself. Without that message, people will treat you cheaply. In teams, boundaries build culture. If a company allows laziness, gossip, or excuses, it becomes weak. But if it sets strong boundaries for discipline, accountability, and excellence, the culture becomes unstoppable. Boundaries are the rules that shape greatness. Boundaries also reduce stress. When you are always saying yes, you carry burdens that are not yours. But when you draw a line, you lighten your load. Stress often comes not from work itself, but from the lack of boundaries around it. Remember, silence can be powerful, but silence without boundaries is surrender. Boundaries speak louder than words because they are visible actions. When people see you protect your time and values, they listen even if you don't say a word. Some will be angry when you set boundaries, but that anger is a test. If they respect you, they will adapt. If they don't, they were never true friends or partners to begin with. Boundaries do not destroy relationships. They reveal their true nature, so never be afraid to draw the line. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They are gates that decide who gets in. They are not selfish. They are necessary. Speak less, show more, because in the end, boundaries speak louder than words. Smiles can make people like you, but they will never make people respect you. Respect does not come from how friendly you look, it comes from the standards you live by. When people see you holding firm to your principles, they recognize your strength, smiles fade, standards remain. I have met many people who want to be liked by everyone. They think being cheerful and agreeable will bring them respect. But in reality, people may enjoy their company, yet never take their words seriously. Without standards, friendliness is just decoration. Respect is earned when you show that you will not compromise your values. A person who smiles but bends under pressure is forgotten quickly. A person who stands firm even without smiling is remembered. The world values courage more than charm. In business, I learned that customers respect you more when you have clear rules than when you try to please everyone. If your product, price, or quality has no standards, people will take advantage of you. But if you draw a line, they may complain, yet they will trust you more. Smiles are temporary, but standards are permanent. Anyone can put on a friendly face, but only a disciplined person can live by principles every day. The respect you gain from standards is deeper and longer lasting than the approval you gain from friendliness. Leaders especially must understand this truth. A leader who smiles all the time but has no standards cannot inspire respect. But a leader who enforces fairness, integrity, and accountability, even if it makes them unpopular, earns loyalty in the long run. When you live with standards, people may call you strict or even difficult. but over time, they will realize that your standards protect quality and fairness. They may not always like you, but they will always respect you. Respect often grows in silence, not in applause. A smile can make people feel comfortable, but it cannot build trust on its own. Trust is built when people see consistency, that you say what you mean and mean what you say. Standards create that consistency. Without it, even the biggest smile looks empty. Some people are afraid to enforce standards because they don't want to lose approval. But the truth is, you lose more by trying to please everyone. Pleasing others may win you short-term friends, but standing for your standards wins you lifelong respect. Respect comes when people know where you stand. If your boundaries are clear, others treat you with seriousness. If you are vague, they treat you casually. Smiles make people approach you. Standards make people listen to you. Even in friendships, standards matter. A friend who never sets limits ends up being taken for granted. But a friend who knows their worth, who gives with intention and not out of pressure, is valued deeply. Smiles may start friendships, but standards keep them healthy. When I built Alibaba, I had to make tough decisions that upset people. Some wanted us to compromise. Others wanted shortcuts. If I had smiled and agreed, we would not have survived. By holding to our standards, even when it hurt, we built respect and trust that carried us forward. Respect is not measured by how many people like you. It is measured by how many people cannot ignore you. Standards make your presence impossible to dismiss. People may not always like the rules you live by, but they will know you are not easily shaken. Smiles may win attention, but standards win reputation. People forget who made them laugh, but they remember who stood by their word. A strong reputation is built not on charm, but on consistency. Respect is the reward of living with principles. It is easy to fake friendliness, but impossible to fake standards. People may pretend to like you, but they cannot pretend to respect you. Respect is earned slowly, through action after action, by showing that your standards never fall. Standards also protect your identity. If you are always smiling just to be accepted, you lose yourself. But if you live by your values, you gain strength. People respect those who know who they are and refuse to change just to fit in. Smiles can open doors, but standards keep them open. You may be welcomed into a room because of friendliness, but you stay in that room because of integrity, discipline, and consistency. Without standards, the doors will eventually close. Respect also grows when you enforce fairness. If you let people take advantage of you, they will smile at you, but secretly look down on you. If you stand firm and treat everyone equally, they may resist at first, but they will honor you for it. So many people spend energy trying to be liked, but being liked is temporary, and it depends on others' moods. Being respected is lasting, and it depends on your choices. Smiles may win approval for a day. Standards build legacy for a lifetime. Respect comes from standards, not smiles. A smile can make you friendly, but standards make you strong. Do not trade your principles for temporary approval. Choose to live by values that speak louder than charm. Respect will follow you even when the smiles fade. Saying yes feels easy, it avoids conflict, makes people happy, and keeps situations smooth. But too many yeses can turn into chains. Every time you say yes without thinking, you give away your freedom, your time, and your power. What looks like kindness quickly becomes weakness. In business, I learned that not every opportunity is worth a yes. In the early days, I wanted to accept every partnership, every request. But soon I realized every yes added weight we could not carry. We were drowning not because of enemies, but because of our own inability to say no. Yes becomes a problem when it steals your focus. You cannot chase 10 directions at once and still expect success. Each yes divides your attention, and divided attention produces weak results. True growth requires selective yeses, not endless agreement. Many people fear saying no because they think it will upset others. But the truth is, people respect you more when you have boundaries. A yes with no conviction loses value. A no with clarity builds respect. Every no is a declaration of self-worth. Saying yes to everything creates exhaustion. You carry tasks that are not yours, solve problems that are not yours, and live lives that are not yours. At first, people thank you. Later, they expect it. Eventually, they stop respecting you altogether. The problem is that yes is addictive. You feel liked, accepted, and appreciated in the moment. But the long-term cost is heavy: burnout, resentment, and loss of identity. Approval is temporary, but regret is permanent. Leaders who say yes too often lose control of their teams. Their people begin to doubt decisions because they see no backbone. A leader who always agrees creates confusion, but a leader who dares to say no, even when unpopular, creates direction and trust. Saying yes also kills creativity. When you agree to everything, you leave no room for new ideas because your energy is consumed by other people's agendas. Innovation requires the courage to say no to distractions so you can focus on building something meaningful. Yes becomes a problem in relationships as well. If you always agree, you stop being yourself. You silence your needs and values for the comfort of others. Over time, this does not create closeness. It creates imbalance. Relationships built on blind yeses are weak. Yes also becomes a mask for fear. Many people agree because they are afraid of rejection, but real strength is not avoiding rejection. It is facing it. Every unnecessary yes is a small surrender to fear, and fear always grows when fed. In negotiations, saying yes too quickly destroys your position. The other side sees you as desperate, not generous. They push harder, demand more, and stop respecting your value. Sometimes the most powerful word in business is not yes but no. Saying yes becomes a problem when it dilutes your standards. You compromise on quality, on values, on principles, just to avoid conflict. But every compromise erodes your foundation. People don't remember how many times you said yes. They remember when you stood firm. The silent danger of yes is that it feels like progress. You think you are moving forward by accepting more, but in reality, you are moving sideways, losing focus and strength. Too many yeses create activity, not achievement. I often tell young people, every yes has a cost. When you say yes to distractions, you say no to discipline. When you say yes to comfort, you say no to growth. When you say yes to pleasing everyone, you say no to respecting yourself. Choose carefully, because every yes is also a no. Yes also weakens your time. The hours you spend fulfilling promises to others could have been invested in your vision. Success is not built by being available to everyone. It is built by protecting your hours like treasure. Time lost to meaningless yeses never returns. People may like you for saying yes, but they will not respect you for it. Respect comes from clarity, from knowing who you are and what you will not accept. If you try to win approval with endless yeses, you lose both respect and peace. Yes becomes a problem when it silences your authenticity. If you always agree, your true voice disappears. People stop seeing you as a person with vision. They see you as a follower. Respect is given to leaders, not to those who never disagree. The discipline of no is what gives power to your yes. A yes that follows many thoughtful no's carries weight. People trust it because they know you chose it with care. But if you say yes to everything, your word becomes cheap. Saying yes is not wrong, but saying yes without purpose is dangerous. When your yes aligns with your vision, it creates growth. When it comes from fear or pressure, it destroys you. The difference is not the word itself, but the strength behind it. Yes becomes a problem when it costs you your focus, your energy, and your self-respect. Do not fear the word no. It is a shield that protects your future. Say yes with clarity, say no with courage, and let both build the life you truly want. Most people believe that power comes from saying yes. They think yes means opportunity, approval, and growth. But real strength often comes from the opposite. Every no you say is a decision to protect your time, your values, and your future. No may sound small, but it carries immense power. When I built Alibaba, many investors and partners came with ideas. If I had said yes to every single one, we would have collapsed under pressure. The strength hidden in no gave us focus. Saying no allowed us to choose the right path instead of being lost in 100 directions. No is a filter. It removes distractions, fake opportunities, and meaningless demands. Without no, your life fills with noise. With no, you create space for clarity. Every no makes room for a more valuable yes. The hidden strength is in what you choose not to do. Saying no requires courage. Yes is easiest. It makes people happy in the moment. No is hard. It disappoints, it upsets. But behind that discomfort is respect. People may not like your no today, but tomorrow they will respect the boundaries it set. No is not rejection of people. It is protection of priorities. If you say yes to everyone, you say no to yourself. But if you say no when needed, you are saying yes to your vision, your health, and your future. That is where the hidden strength lies. Many fear no because they think it closes doors, but often no protects you from walking into the wrong doors. A wrong yes can trap you for years, while a strong no keeps you free. Freedom is built not by how many yeses you say, but by how many no's you dare to give. In leadership, no is essential. A leader who cannot say no cannot guide. Teams lose trust in leaders who always agree. But when a leader says no to wrong ideas, weak practices, or bad habits, the team learns discipline. No creates direction where yes creates confusion. No is also a tool of self-respect. Each time you say no to disrespect, you teach people how to treat you. Without no, others assume you will tolerate anything. Respect is not built by smiles. It is built by standards. No enforces those standards silently and powerfully. The hidden strength of no is that it creates value for your yes. If you say yes all the time, it becomes cheap. People stop trusting it. But if you reserve yes for what truly matters, it becomes powerful. No protects the value of your agreement. No also saves energy. If you commit to everything, you burn out quickly. But when you say no, you protect your energy for the right tasks. Successful people are not those who do everything. They are those who master the art of choosing. In business negotiations, no is often the word that earns respect. When you refuse unfair terms, people understand your value. If you say yes too quickly, they see weakness. No is not just protection, it is strategy. No is also the foundation of discipline. Every day you must say no to temptations, to laziness, to distraction, to excuses. These private no's build invisible strength. Others may never see them, but the results speak loudly over time. Some will dislike you for saying no, but that dislike is temporary. They may walk away, but the right people will stay. A no filters out those who want to use you and strengthens bonds with those who respect you. That is hidden strength. No is also about vision. If you want to build something great, you cannot be everything to everyone. You must focus. Every great achievement is built not only on yeses, but also on thousands of no's. No sharpens your path. The strength hidden in no is also freedom of identity. When you stop living for others' approval, you can finally live for your own values. No allows you to be authentic. A life full of yeses is a life controlled by others. A life with no's is a life you own. In personal growth, no is often more important than yes. No to procrastination, no to negative people, no to excuses. These no's don't just protect time, they build character. Success is not built on what you add, but on what you refuse. No also teaches others that your time has value. If you are always available, people assume your time is cheap. But when you say no, you show them that your hours are precious. People respect what is rare, not what is always given. Yes makes you popular, no makes you respected. Popularity fades, but respect lasts. The strength hidden in no is the power to trade temporary approval for long-term dignity. That trade is what separates leaders from followers. Every successful person has a list of numbers. They say no to gossip, no to mediocrity, no to distractions. Behind every big yes is 100 small no's. Success is less about what you accept and more about what you reject. No is not weakness. It is hidden strength. It is the shield that protects your time, the filter that protects your focus, and the tool that builds respect. Don't fear number. Use it wisely, and it will become one of the strongest words in your life. A true leader is not only respected, but also trusted. That balance comes from walking the fine line between kindness and authority. Too much kindness, and people take advantage. Too much authority, and people fear but never connect. The art of leadership is balancing the two. Kindness makes people feel valued, while authority ensures discipline. If you only use authority, you build obedience but not loyalty. If you only use kindness, you create comfort but not growth. A true leader blends both, inspiring people while holding them accountable. When I started leading Alibaba, I quickly learned that smiles alone couldn't guide a company, but harshness alone couldn't build trust either. My role was not to be everyone's friend, nor their dictator. It was to show care while standing firm on principles. That balance built respect. Kindness without authority becomes weakness. Employees may like you, but they won't follow you seriously. Authority without kindness becomes cruelty. People may fear you, but they won't stay with you. Leadership requires kindness to connect and authority to lead. Authority is not about shouting or controlling. It is about setting clear standards and protecting them. Kindness is not about giving in. It is about understanding. When combined, they create a culture where people feel supported but also responsible. A leader's kindness should empower, not spoil. When you show care, it should encourage people to grow. But if your kindness lets people avoid accountability, it turns destructive. True kindness pushes people to rise higher, not remain comfortable. Authority must also be fair. People respect authority when it is applied consistently. If rules are clear but you bend them for favorites, you lose credibility. Authority without fairness is abuse. Fairness gives authority its legitimacy. Kindness shows in how you listen. Authority shows in how you decide. Listening builds trust. Deciding builds direction. If you only listen without deciding, the team drifts. If you only decide without listening, the team resists. Both are needed to move forward. True leaders use kindness to open hearts and authority to shape actions. One without the other creates imbalance. Balance does not mean being perfect every time, but it means never allowing one side to destroy the other. A kind leader without authority becomes over-accommodating. An authoritative leader without kindness becomes feared and avoided. The balance makes leadership sustainable. It creates a team that works with you, not just for you. In tough times, authority matters most. Decisions must be firm and direction must be clear. But even then, kindness must guide your tone and approach. People accept hard truths more easily when they know you care. Authority gives clarity. Kindness gives hope. Leaders must also balance kindness and authority within themselves. Kindness without self-discipline leads to burnout. Authority without humility leads to arrogance. The strongest leaders master themselves before leading others. Kindness makes people trust your heart. Authority makes them trust your actions. Without one, trust is incomplete. Teams thrive when they believe their leader both cares for them and will protect the mission at all costs. Authority is like the skeleton of leadership. It provides structure. Kindness is like the heart. It gives life. Without structure, a body collapses. Without heart, it is lifeless. Leadership needs both to survive. A true leader knows when to switch between kindness and authority. There are moments to be gentle and moments to be firm. If you use both wisely, people not only respect you, but also feel inspired to give their best. Kindness also protects authority from becoming arrogance. Authority without kindness can make leaders believe they are above others. Kindness reminds them they are human and that leadership is service, not superiority. Authority also protects kindness from being abused. Without authority, kindness turns into endless yeses. People may misuse it and in the process lose respect for you. Authority ensures your kindness is respected, not exploited. I often tell leaders, do not try to be the most loved and do not try to be the most feared. Try to be the most respected. Respect comes when people know you care, but also know you will not compromise your mission. The balance of kindness and authority creates loyalty. People follow you not just because they have to, but because they want to. They feel safe with your kindness and guided by your authority. That loyalty cannot be bought. It must be earned. True leaders balance kindness with authority. One builds connection, the other builds respect. Without balance, leadership collapses. With it, you inspire people not just to work harder, but to believe deeper. And that belief is what creates lasting success. At the end of the day, respect is not earned by how many people you please, but by how clearly you stand for yourself. Being friendly is good, but being too friendly makes others blind to your value. Life will not reward you for being available to everyone. It will reward you for protecting your boundaries and living with dignity. Remember, when you set limits, you don't lose friends, you gain respect. Do not trade your self-worth for temporary approval. Choose strength, choose clarity, and the right people will value you for who you truly are.